Do you wish that you got into Solana at $1? Well, this blockchain I'm about to tell you about is aiming to solve the blockchain trilemma. And if it does so, it could potentially see the same kind of run up that we saw from Solana. My name is Kyle Chasse, guys. I've been in crypto for 10 years. On this channel, we go into deep dives about the best projects and tell you everything that you need to know in the world of crypto. If that sounds good to you guys, make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Let's get into it. So what is Aleph Zero? Well, guys, Aleph Zero is not actually a blockchain. It is a DAG. A DAG is a directed acyclical graph. So what does that mean? Well, I'll explain it to you in a second. But first, I want to tell you about this blockchain trilemma. Vitalik said that there's really no way to have all three of these things, which is security, speed, and decentralization. One of those things must be sacrificed in order to be a true, public, open, permissionless, immutable blockchain. But a lot of scientists and architects and engineers have thought maybe there's a better way to do decentralization other than a blockchain. And a DAG is a different way. See, guys, in a blockchain, you have to produce block by block. Think of it just like a chain of blocks. That's literally a blockchain. And all the data goes in one block, and then that block is closed and time-stamped forever. And then the next block comes and data goes into that, so on and so forth. But in a blockchain, all transactions have to check the entire history of the blockchain to validate the transaction. This is a lot of time requirements and resources and resource intensive. Whereas a DAG actually looks more like a tree stemming out from the branches, new trees. And all a DAG does is check the transaction immediately before it to validate the transaction that you're trying to process, making it not have to go back and check the entire history of something, which makes it exponentially faster and exponentially more efficient. So guys, Aleph Zero is fast. I'm talking about 100,000 transactions per second fast. To top it off, they're talking about instant finality. That's right. That means that you send a transaction, it's done, finalized, confirmed. You can ship your goods, or you can buy your coffee, or you can get your NFT. Furthermore, Aleph Zero is attempting to create an entirely privacy-preserving blockchain where if you don't want your data shared, you won't have to. And furthermore, they're allowing smart contracts that are written on other blockchains also to use Aleph Zero's protocol to protect the privacy of those smart contracts as well. So how do they do that? Well, they're using technology called zero knowledge proofs, or ZKP. Additionally, they're also using a technology called multi-party computation. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know how bullish I am on multi-party computation. And a lot of the really smart money is waking up to this kind of technology. It actually eliminates the private key from the crypto. And instead of having to actually send my crypto to another wallet, a multi-party computation blockchain will enable you to actually just swap ownership of an asset. So it makes it instant and private, which is what we all want in the world of decentralization. What's also really, really interesting about Aleph Zero is they're actually modified the Substrate protocol. Substrate allows interoperability natively from the beginning. And so they have essentially taken Substrate and modified it and built their own consensus mechanism on top of it, which just means the way that everyone agrees that transactions happen. But what this will allow it to do is be interoperable with other blockchains natively from day one. This is incredibly important. So you can build your application or your game or your metaverse or your DeFi thing on top of Aleph Zero, and it can natively communicate with all the different other chains. Something like Solana doesn't do. It's isolated. All of this kind of power that's being assembled on this native layer, it's allowing really cool things to happen, like the DEX that they're building, for example. It would allow you to swap Bitcoin for Ethereum. And while that might not sound impressive to you, you can't do that on any other DEX today, as far as I'm aware. On MetaMask or Uniswap or PancakeSwap, you cannot swap Bitcoin for any other currency, really, because it runs on different networks. But with Aleph Zero's DEX that they're building, you can. That's powerful stuff. And I actually wish that we could have that today. Another thing that has made me very, very bullish on this whole thing when I decided to go full on into this project was the team. I'm not going to go into the entire team right now on this video, but I encourage you guys, go to the website here and look at the team. Is absolutely huge and very, very smart. All PhDs, brilliant scientists and engineers. This is what really made me buy in. Again, as a VC, as someone who invests in projects, I'm always looking at the teams to see, are they capable of pulling off this ambitious idea which they are proposing? And in my opinion, this team is highly qualified, and yes, they could pull this off. What does a realistic timeline look like? Well, as you can see from the charts, it has been picking up a lot of traction and attention lately, which means people are catching on. But from a development and go-to-market perspective, where are we? Well, I was speaking to the team recently, And they said that they're about 6 to 8 weeks out from allowing smart contracts to actually be deployed and used on Aleph Zero. So we're at least 2 months out before we start seeing the ecosystem starting to really, really grow. And with that being said, it's still going to take a lot of effort to become, let's say, the size of Solana. That might sound crazy to you, but I don't think it is at all, because this is sufficiently decentralized, instant finality, super high throughput. Very, very impressive. In fact, I have witnessed many projects trying to build DAG protocols. A good example is Hathor. Hathor is also building a DAG with proof of work built in, which is a little complicated, but we don't need to get into that right now. So where could it go here? Let's get into some fun price speculation. Again, guys, not financial advice, but if it went to the market cap of Solana, where it is right now, would be about an 85x from here. The question that I would be asking myself is, what is the marketing going to look like? Right? That's what Solana did phenomenally well. They spent, I think, about $250,000 a month on marketing, and that's what is kind of required in order for something to really skyrocket to the top. For example, let's say that there's a $200 million ecosystem grant fund that gets put out for Aleph Zero, where they're encouraging developers, giving them grants to come build on Aleph Zero. This would help ecosystem growth for sure. So I'm going to leave you guys with this thought. What if the future of blockchain isn't really blockchain at all? What if it's actually a DAG? Well, if that is true, which these guys are proposing that it is, this is going to be the future, ladies and gentlemen, and Aleph Zero might be the ones bringing it to you.